How's it going? Once again, Beyond the Benches coming at you with a quick video here today as I'm going to break down post week 5 in the NFL, which teams I think are legit, which teams do I think are not, and where everybody stands. And I've been wanting to do a video like this for a little while now because I always think it's interesting because the NFL is very much a week by week league where our opinions of teams change rather quickly. And so teams that we think are legitimate or we think we know they're good, a couple weeks later we might be looking at them at a different way. So it's always interesting to kind of have these kind of breakdowns and then see in the future which ones I get right, and of course more often than not which ones are not so correct. But to start off in the AFC East, you have 3 teams at the top of the division at 3-2 in the Bills, the Patriots, and the Jets. And you have the Dolphins in last place at 2-2. No losing teams currently in this division. If you look at the New York Jets, while they've certainly been better than people gave them credit for and would have thought entering the year, their last 3 wins rather, none have really been that impressive. And they do certainly suggest that they are better than a lot of the bad teams in the NFL, such as the Browns, who they have beaten, and teams like that. They seem to be in the next tier, which is very impressive because for a team that really went full rebuild mode this offseason, it appears that that rebuild is going a lot faster than many would have thought. Now, while they probably will be a 5 or 6 win team, and likely be out of that first pick scenario, it is still a pretty good quarterback class, so I think they will still be able to get their quarterback of the future, which is their biggest thing they're missing. Josh McCown's played fine, but he certainly is not the franchise piece. But I do not believe at 3-2 that they are a real team. I think the Dolphins at 2-2 are kind of weird because I believe they have the potential to have a similar turnaround, and they were even worse off to begin last year at 1-4. But they certainly have not even right now played a team that looks to be deserving of 2-2. They look like a team that's been worse than their record might suggest. Their offense is worse in the league. Their defense has been pretty fine through most of their games, not giving up too many points. But it's just simply going to be a matter of fact of can the Dolphins find an offense? If not, they are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. But if they can get something going, I think they have the pieces to maybe even be a wild card contender. I think this division, though, is going to come down to the Bills and the Patriots, and I will put my money on the Patriots to be the real deal. Their defense is certainly a problem, but I think when all is said and done, they're still going to be at least a 10-win team and take home the AFC East crown. In the North, the Ravens and the Bengals seem to be the 2 middle teams to me. I don't take either that team that seriously. I also don't think either team is that bad. I thought the Bengals were a little better when they were 0-3 than people gave them credit for. They had tough losses to teams like the Texans and the Packers. Those aren't easy games. But they kind of bounced back, won a couple of games. They're 2-3. I think they'll be around 8-8. Same thing for the Ravens. Browns, they are still the worst team in football. Steelers, not that impressive so far this year, but I think they will do well enough to win that division. AFC South, really interesting. The Titans, I think, could be the best team in this division, but now Mariota's hurt. They're a little lackluster. The Texans, I think, could be really good if Deshaun Watson continues to play this way. He could probably be a Rookie of the Year candidate along with Kareem Hunt. At this point, the way he is scoring, and he has given that Texans offense new life, so I think they are for real. I think the Jaguars are going to be a hit or miss team, probably an 8-8 ball club. They will have really good weeks, really bad weeks. And the Colts, if I'm the Colts, I would just sit Andrew Luck for the rest of the year. The Colts may be 2-3, but I don't think they're in any real position to compete. In the AFC West, I don't believe the Raiders are for real, especially now losing Derek Carr. I think they will be out of the playoffs. The Chargers, I never really believed in them. I gave them 6-10 to begin the year. Probably a little generous right now. This is going to come down to the Chiefs and the Broncos. I think both of those teams are playoff teams. I think the Chiefs will probably win the division, and the Broncos will be the #1 wild card. The second wild card team, you could look at the Bills, maybe a Ravens, maybe a Titans, something like that. Maybe even Oakland, but the longer Derek Carr is out, that's going to really hurt them. Now, if we look at the NFC, in the East, the Eagles, surprisingly at 4-1. I did predict them to be a playoff team, but I thought they would be second in this division. Now, there is still a chance for the Cowboys to come back because the Eagles' schedule is going to get harder, and the Cowboys' schedule is going to get easier. So I still think The Cowboys are the real team in this division. They're going to win the division. I'm going to stick to my predictions, but I do believe that the Eagles are also a playoff team. So those are the two for real teams for me. Giants, yeah, they're having some problems, and the Redskins, I just don't really buy them. In the North, I think the two real teams are the Lions, who have taken a couple of tough losses to good teams the past few weeks. They're still going to be pretty good. And the Packers, obviously because they have Aaron Rodgers. The rest of their roster is but when you have a guy like him, he can make everyone a little bit better. I also think their defense has been a little bit better, just a little bit. Bears, they're now turning to Trubisky, but they are in rebuild mode, no real situation to compete. I think that the Buccaneers could be in trouble in the NFC South. They were a team that a lot of people were higher on entering this year, but I just don't know. I think they could be headed towards a similar 8 or 9 win season like last year, and you could see the Falcons and or Panthers advancing to the playoffs. I don't think the Panthers will continue on this trajectory that they're on at 4-1. You would think that's like a 12-win team. I don't think they'll be quite that good. But they have had some nice wins this year, and I think they'll be a playoff contender. The Falcons will win that division, in my opinion, and the Saints will probably finish in last place. Now, if you look at the West, I think that the Rams are a year away. I know everybody's really high on their offense and on Sean McVay, and I think they've made tremendous improvements. I don't think they're a playoff team right now. Expect them to be more of a 7-8, maybe even a 9-win team that's close to the playoffs, and next year will probably be their year. They need to fill a few holes on their defense, maybe add one more wide receiver, and they're probably good to go. Give this division to the Seahawks for one more year. Their window might be closing just a bit, but I think the Seahawks take home the NFC West one more time. Cardinals and 49ers are going to be at the bottom of that division. So those are my thoughts on the NFL right now. Let me know what you guys think. Who do you see in the playoffs? And you know what? Special question. Super Bowl prediction right now. Let me know. Peace.